3. Hello, welcome to week 13 already of Rise, the podcast. David Cohen with you. Rise is about inspiring entrepreneurs. It's about rise up, impact, inspire, socially aware entrepreneurs, and just to encourage creativity, new ways of doing things, new ways of doing life, new ways of doing community, how we work, how we live, around our health, around how we raise kids, how we treat our elderly. So it's about you as an entrepreneur living your passion, your truth, and seeing it realized in the world we live in. So this week we have a wonderful guest, Rose-Anne Partridge, or Turunen Partridge. She's an author of a Canadian best-selling book. She's a former radio show host and ITV personality. She loves to inspire others to wake up to their innate abilities to heal and create a life of their dreams. Her journey of healing began when she had her children, as they led her on an uncommon path of discovery and learning due to her son being born with a rare genetic condition. Rose-Anne eventually went beyond the traditional medical advice that did not really provide solutions, only labels and dark outcomes. I know that all too well. And that helped her discover a powerful life-changing force of universal energy, in particularly the power energy of love. And studying several different energy healing techniques, brain nutrition, brainwave optimization certification, and much more led her on a discovery of many alternative sources of health and wellness, not only for her son, but her whole family, including herself. Rose-Anne is passionate about continuing to spread the important message that we are all capable of waking up to our innate abilities to heal ourselves. She's here to support the special children of the world who need solutions beyond those that the traditional medical system can provide at this time. And she's also here to support the parents of those wonderful children and help them find a different path to grow and to growth and to personal power as well. And also, I imagine, to cope better. She wants to remind people that you are a powerful healer of the world, and together we can help our special children rejoice in their unique journey in this lifetime. Welcome, welcome. This is long overdue. We've known each other on Facebook for several years now, and here we are. So what a joy.
Finally.
Yeah. So, originally I wanted to talk to you about one thing, but there's a few things that in reading your bio, it's just like, whew, they come screaming off the page. And
Yes.
One is, you've chosen to live a purpose-driven life. How does one, maybe watching or listening, because we have an audio version of this, how does one, maybe they're in a business and they're not as inspired as they used to be, and they want to do something more from the heart, and I'm tapping my heart. How does one get to live a more purpose-driven life and do work that is also more inspiring and purposeful? How did you get to that, Rose-Anne?
Yeah, I mean, I have been an entrepreneur for, long time now. And I remember being in that state of being where I was kind of in this routine and I was making good money and it was a successful business, but I was starting to not feel that passion and that part of my heart. It was heavy. It was actually really heavy. And so first of all, when I couldn't just, you can't always just, okay, stop doing what you're doing and, find something else. It's not always possible. And for me, it wasn't at the time. So to start with, I started to make my day more meaningful for me. So different things within my routine that started to feel too mechanical, I would try to put more intention in it. Mindfulness. What am I actually doing? What am I creating? And so putting that purpose and intention with even just the actions I was taking in that day gave me more satisfaction, not making it so mindless, but seeing why I was doing it and also focusing on the why. Why am I doing this? And so there was all the benefits and the gratitude of, well, this is leading me to the abundance I need so that I can, help my children. I had my son, as you mentioned there, who had special needs, obviously needed a lot more attention and care, which is why I've been an entrepreneur for so long, because I needed to be home for him. And so it gave me that kind of a switch of mind. Again, a lot of, these kind of like pivots in perspective really, really help. And then, do that creative thinking, visualization, soul searching. What is it that you do have a passion for? And see how you can transition your way toward that, which is what I eventually did. So I went out of, I was actually making backdrops for photography because I have artistic skills, and I was a photographer, and I started doing it for myself. And then other people loved what I was doing, so I started making it for them. So that business kind of just organically happened out of one passion. But then my new passion, thanks to my son, which was all about healing and energy and, helping others to truly live their best life. That was the other passion that was starting to really shine brighter in my heart. So I started to do more toward that at the same time. And so it was a gradual shift, but, that's one way of doing it. I have heard of other people who have, they completely surrender. Stop what they're doing and just go leap right into their passion. And, that is another way of doing it. If you have, the bravery and courage to do that, and, it's not going to put, too much hardship on you at the same time, but at the same time, that surrender and faith often leaps you right into wonderful miracles. So a couple of different ways of looking at it.
Yeah. And so it sounds like your purpose was really started by, what you went through with your son and the challenges that he had.
Yes.
For someone who doesn't, have to go through that, and I'm sure it was not an easy journey for you at all at the beginning stages. How can they recognize a passion and start to move forward on it? Because some people are just, we do live a little bit robotic, right? We take the same route to work. We do, we eat the same food. We watch the same shows. We're on our cell phones, texting people. How do you move out of sort of the robotic nature of our lives into sort of, this is really what I'm passionate about? And what are the clues that we, for passion? That's maybe what I want to ask.
It's right there in that word. But also it's the emotions that come with it. Like, what brings you joy? Like, joy to me is the direction of your passion. If something makes you feel joyful, it makes you feel alive, it doesn't, like you look forward to doing it, then that's your passion. And it can be anything. For example, I love hiking through the woods and forest. If I was really, really, joyful about that, I could, start maybe leading tours, hiking tours. I also, what I did kind of do, because as David, I am a wedding officiant.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of incorporated that joy of mine being in nature with my weddings. So I do kind of adventure weddings for people. And, it didn't start off that way. I was doing very, very traditional, not in church, but, in venues, a lot of, like hotels and resorts and stuff like that. And then now I've really drifted off into, snowshoe adventure to a frozen lake or hiking up. Yeah. Hiking up, a large, I wouldn't call it a mountain here in Ontario, but, large hill to a beautiful overlook in Algonquin Park, different things like that. So it's incorporating my joy with something that also can bring me income. So it's a beautiful combination. So really you have to know what brings you joy. And some people can't see how they can make that into a, business to begin with, but you got to get creative. Like I know people who love to bike ride. And, maybe that'll lead to owning a bike shop, or maybe it's bike tours or something. You have to get creative with it. But first, starting with truly, what is it that brings you joy? And some people get stuck that it has to be a job. No. What brings you joy? It doesn't matter what it is, that you can turn into something and help others to see your passion and to experience your passion.
Yeah, I really love it. And you mentioned, a wedding on a frozen lake, so, you may kiss the bride after we go ice fishing,
Seriously, it was cold too. It was fun. It was fun though, but I like, and I love it. I love it. And some wedding officiants do not want to do that, right? Like that is just 100% not their thing. So, I fit that niche market that, want those adventure couples that want to go out and experience their wedding day in nature.
I see a TV show in the future, actually. So I do want to talk still about the wellness, but there's a couple of things I want to. So you've chosen to live your dream, and I think living your dream, there's a lot of fear around it these days, especially with the social and political climate that we're in. How can we go beyond what is in this crazy 3D world that we live in and we see every day and hear about every day and talk about every day? It's almost like as soon as we stop talking about it, I think it'll disappear. But how can we live our dreams in this craziness still and make them happen? Any ideas around that?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. Stop talking about all that stuff. Stop living in all that stuff. Stop engaging in all of that stuff. And again, shift to what brings you joy, what brings you that spark in life, and focus on that, because what you focus on expands, right? What you focus on, you get pulled toward. There is infinite possibilities out there, infinite. It's waiting for you to observe it and then put the energy and the emotion into that to actually manifest. You can actually, we are so much more powerful than we have given ourselves credit for. And we're going to start remembering more and more. More and more people are going to start remembering how much power we have. And once it is scary when you don't realize how much power you have, but when you know how much power you have, it's just fun. It's fun to be able to create that. And, visualizations are a great tool. Sometimes maybe in the external world, it's a lot different feeling out there. So not saying to live within, but to go within quite often. I think right now in particular is going to be a thing of, strengthening that kind of a reality for you. Because it's energy. I don't know if this is going to show up backwards or not, but literally I have this, everything is energy, it's backwards.
Yeah, no, it works here. I see it. Yeah.
So everything is energy. I have that little sign reminding me every day here in my office, because it is. So, use that to your benefit, and understand that 3D energy is much, much lower. And we're striving for this 5D energy, which is higher. And it's based on love, that love energy. So any kind of vibration that's high vibe, joy, love, gratitude, focus on those things, and you're going to be amazed how much less this starts to be a part of your life. Before we were, recording, Dave, we were talking about how this really hasn't impacted my life a lot. Not that, it doesn't, it does a lot in other senses, but also mentally, I don't allow it to take over. Not saying, again, yes, there's days where it's like, it's stressful, but there are definite techniques, and gratitude and mindfulness and focusing on what you truly want to create are fabulous ways that are within our power to utilize every day.
Yeah, I really like that. And visualization, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about that. There's so much on that, not just him, but So visualizing affirmations too, because like our thoughts kind of go all over the place, right? Sometimes, and we're going, yeah, but I'll never be able to do that. And it's like, no, I can, I am, and I will, right? So little practices like that. You mentioned, we talked about 3D, 5D. 3D is sort of like the real world we live in. 5D is sort of to me, it's like another state of being. It's what you just said. It's about joy, love, passion, abundance. What do you think moving forward, Rose-Anne, a 5D business will look like? What are we moving towards?
Yeah, and I'll just step back one thing. I just want to just give you my perspective on 3D, 5D. Actually, the 3D is not the real world.
Right, it's an illusion.
That perspective, the 3D is the illusion that we live in and we believe is the real world. However, 5D is much more on track with what our souls intended for us, and it's based on love. So it's heart-centered businesses primarily. So it's very transparent. It's very giving, and it's reciprocal. Like it just is this energy exchange happening all the time. We're going to have a lot of different stuff coming our way in the next 10, 20 years. Like it's going to be when we look back on it, it's going to be like, wow, how could we have ever done it that way? But it was just an illusion that was placed over us, and that illusion bubble is popping. So we get to see how humanity really is going to be, and that is, it's not based on greed and corruption and having it all, because we all have it all. It's not about being the only one who has it all. Abundance is there for all, and we are there to help support each other in that place, doing what you love. So you're going to see a lot more barter and stuff like that happening. I foresee in the future as well, because some people have natural talents toward one thing and others toward another, and you can do exchanges and stuff like that. So it's going to be a wonderful, very heart-centered way of living.
I think we all kind of desire that, and it's almost like when I do my meditation, sometimes it's like, come on already, it's like, yes. I'm tired of the sort of this existence that we're in,
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think, as we move towards the end of the year, I think my sense is we all just want to rest and have a break, and not a break like a fracture or a broken arm, but just like a break from it. And just like I feel like a sense of just going within more and more quiet. Are you feeling that too?
It's definitely the next few months are highly geared toward going within and healing. And I actually today's Real Life Tuesday topic is about that. So I'm going to be sharing a video about that very thing, is that the November, December onward, if you're feeling that pull to really heal your physical body and rest and allow yourself that time, this is a strong message that's coming through for a lot of people right now, and highly recommend it. And it's also like some people don't even know how to rest. It's gotten to that point. So it's going to be a relearning of how to have that self-care and self-love, and seeing what part of you does truly need healing right now, because the energies are going to be supporting that in these next couple months and beyond. So yeah, definitely, David, you're picking up on that for sure.
All right, I'm looking forward to your post. So we're almost like, instead of being human doings, we're going to be human beings for once.
Yes, I love that. And it's so true. It's so true. We have lost the ability to just be, and there's all those preconditioned concepts that, oh, well, laziness, this and that, like judgments. But resting is doing actually a lot of stuff for you. So it is a state of being, but it is actually doing a lot.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend before today, our interview, and she said, I'm realizing I'm not a loser if I don't feel like going to do work, or if I'm don't have money in the bank. It doesn't mean anything, right? But we put such meaning, we've had such programming around things like that, and my thing is, if I go in, it's like I'm not seeing anybody, and I'm a pretty social person. I'm what's called an ambivert, so I'm I'm extroverted, but I also like to retreat and recharge. So it's like now I'm thinking of being more introverted over the holidays, and it's like I don't care. I have no friends. I'm not in touch with anybody. Anyway, I digress. I want to get into like family wellness, which is another core of your business, and it is your purpose and passion. So, first of all, talk to us a little bit about your son, if you're okay too. And the first question that comes to mind is, how did you not have a pity party and a woe is me? And then what got you into sort of taking action and making this your life's work?
Well, I don't know that I didn't have if I had a pity party, it was a very short-lived one, because I didn't have time to do that. In all honesty, if anything, I got and I don't want to say the word angry, because it wasn't anger at the situation, but I was a perfectionist and very protective of my children and everything. And there were some individuals who kind of indicated that this was almost my fault. So, I think out of, not, and again, spite, it's not but I was so determined, well, you know what, this is within my realm of control to be able to help my son as best as I can. So I dove into it, thorough research, every kind of appointment I could think of to begin with when we were first trying to just even diagnose. So when he was, we didn't have a diagnosis until he was about 2.5 years old. He definitely didn't hit all the milestones as a baby and toddler. So, going to just the regular wellness checks, we noticed things were not progressing. Finally, through genetic testing, we got the official diagnosis, and we don't have the lucky thing of having a fancy name. We get to just have literally the chromosome that it affects as his condition name. So it's chromosome 8p inverted duplication. And I used to say that, I've said it so many times, it's a tongue twister, and doctors would look at me like, what is that? No one had heard of it really. At the time, especially. He's now 22 years old. So
wow,
been on this journey for a long time. And so, when we were first starting, it was very, very rare. Like I knew of one other person in New Zealand who reached out to me, actually, because I was posting about it on the web, because I was an entrepreneur, and I was always even way back then, 22 years ago, I was on the internet, and they reached out to me. I knew of one other who was a little bit older than him in the kind of GTA area, and but we never met up or anything, and I didn't see the benefit. I didn't understand, going through this for the first time in my life, the benefit of that. And now, oh my goodness, like, totally find your community, find, you will not regret it to have that kind of support and understanding of what you're going through, because that was the biggest challenge, I would say. And, that I struggled with often was feeling very, very alone because it was so rare. So I often, there's some kind of crossover things to different conditions. And so I would delve into their groups and research and things like that. But yeah, it was a very interesting journey, but it led me to a lot of alternative therapies, because the medical system didn't really know what to do with him either. And he actually then eventually fell completely through the medical system cracks, like just I don't know what happened, Sick Kids Hospital, didn't remind us of a thing or didn't book us for the next follow-up, and it just never happened. And so there was huge gaps in his medical profile per se, but we had at that point gotten into such a good routine with all of the alternative therapies I was doing, energy healing and focusing on nutrition and a lot of physio and those kind of occupational things through the school system, which I was very grateful for, and different out in Oshawa was the Grandview Children's Center when he was little, and then progressing through. So just being able to have that community would have been my biggest thing that if I could go back and do it again, that would be somehow reaching out to even just those few individuals and forming something more, which I'm really blessed now. I've discovered a whole AP group and I'm becoming much more involved with them in the coming months as well. So, but it took me 22 years to find them.
Wow. It's life work, right? So what did you learn, and what worked to help your son get to this age? It's just amazing.
Yeah. And what is amazing was, as I, in the bio that you read, there was a lot of dark outcomes. Like I was having a lot of not so great things said for his future. And that was hard, to overcome that, very heavy, dark predictions.
Yeah.
And so quite frankly, him being 22 is a miracle, according to what they're saying, they predicted. So, and not only that is being happy and still mobile and with us every day, in his joyful way. So what we really focused on over the years that I really, he had sleep issues, toileting issues, he's nonverbal, and he has now severe scoliosis. He didn't have severe scoliosis. He had mild scoliosis when he was younger, but that's actually proven to be the biggest challenge right now for his health and well-being. So we are still working on different solutions, but quite frankly, I'm waiting for those med beds to come out.
Aren't we all?
I know, because this is a challenge beyond, like, he doesn't qualify for surgery for it, and so it really is just in the hands of God for the most part. But nutrition wise was one of the biggest things, because he has digestive issues, and finding solutions that help to support that nutrition base, everything from a mammalian source omega-3, which actually started his mental cognition, clarity, and the development really took off with that product. He's not speaking, but he can say certain words, at least to my understanding and the family's understanding. Maybe other people don't understand, but we can hear him when he says certain words. So things like that actually feed and fuel the brain in different ways, because he has different brain issues as well through his condition. And just giving that nutrition base through whole food supplements, like Juice Plus, and all sorts of other supplements that he's been given over the years. I used to be a non-supplement kind of person. I have to confess, I was like, no, you can get everything from food. You just got to, eat really healthy and clean. And I do that. But what I've realized over the years is that, with the soil and the way, pesticides everywhere, it's just not, also harvesting too soon, and the transportation, the nutrients aren't in the food like they used to be, when our grandparents were getting the food off the farms and they were more local. It's just not the same anymore. So I have come to the understanding that supplementation is vital for all of us right now, until we start, talking about that 5D existence, going back more so to that local, farming and businesses, and getting the stuff more locally again, which I really do feel is the direction of the future.
Yeah,
Yeah, it has to be. So until we get there, we need to have this kind of, baseline is what I kind of call it for our family of nutrition, which we get through supplementation. And as I mentioned, energy healing, a huge believer in that. And there's some great, energy healers out there, but also technology. Technology has, come, leaps and bounds. I was a brainwave optimization technician for a few years, which I highly recommend still. I'm no longer doing it myself, and here in Canada, it's hard to find people that do it. There's more in the States, which is where we flew all the way down to Arizona with Johan just to get him into that. And it's truly amazing stuff. The brain is fascinating to me. So I do a lot of work with the brain. And but there's other fabulous energy healing and bioresonance tools, such as the Healy device, which I use regularly here on everybody in the family, and it just keeps the immune system functioning high. It keeps our emotions balanced. It even works on chakras. I mean, it's a fabulous device working on that whole energetic frequency of our being in existence. So, which really, again, everything is energy. So
are those the EMF beds you're talking about, or?
It's not an EMF bed. It's actually, and I meant to have it on me when I was talking with you, David, and I forgot to put it on. It's literally a tiny little device that you just wear, and you use your phone with a program on there. So it's so portable and usable for everybody. Whereas the other device, where the brainwave optimization was a big device, and you had to have a technician because you would work specifically with the different brain lobes and areas of the brain with sensors right onto your scalp type of thing. So it was much more complicated. This is so much more simplified, yet so powerful. It works with 144,000 different frequencies. It's just amazing stuff. Yeah.
Very cool. As we move into flu season, so to speak, in the winter and colds, what are some good, family wellness, self-care tips that you can suggest?
Well, number one is if you can get to the comprehension that it's not flu season, it's sugar season. Then you'll understand.
Oh yeah, go to the grocery store, like cookies and chocolates and.
Well, we just got out of Halloween, and what's in all of our children's bedrooms, right? Stacks of these chocolate bars and candy. It's just.
And it always sucked when you got an apple,
Exactly. So you went from that, then there's in the States, they go into their Thanksgiving there. And more sugars, these sweets and treats, and then into Christmas, candy canes and cookies, and refined sugar really is not your friend.
and white flour, both.
White flour as well, but really, if you can work on eliminating or reducing significantly one thing for your family, and it's a challenge, I know, believe me. I've got my 9-year-old with his stack of chocolate from Halloween, but he's so good, he has just one a day type of thing. But then if you're doing that, you got to really compensate with other things, and that's where I supplement with the Juice Plus, chewables. He's got these gummies, so he's boosting his immune system with healthy vegetables and fruits, and because it just takes, I think it's just I think it's a half a teaspoon, but I might be wrong. Maybe it's a half a tablespoon, one or the other. It's a small amount of sugar already reduces your immune system function like that. So, I mean, imagine you're just putting a teaspoon into your coffee or something, eliminating these things are from the little things, they add up, the jams, get a sugar-free jam, get use stevia instead in your coffee. And as much as possible, use alternatives in your baking. You don't have to use refined sugar. You can use more natural sugars like the maple syrups and honeys and stuff. It's still sweet, but it's a little bit better for you than the refined sugars, which quite frankly is poison. And
there was a documentary a few years ago on the CBC and said that sugar in our food's gone up like that. And that same that same trajectory,
Yeah.
cancer, Alzheimer's, wait for it, diabetes, and heart disease. So as sugar's gone up, all those, ailments we hear about have gone up in the same way, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that one thing, if families could get, on board with that, and it is, especially for your children, I know they will benefit, and like, get rid of those carbonated drinks. That's another poison, like, just, find alternatives. And there's lots of great things, what we do for, my son loves, Young Living has like a Ninja Red drink, and he drinks it like, and it's so healthy, but he loves it. He loves it. So find healthy alternatives that your children love. And, we make smoothies a lot, and using just the fruit sugars are much healthier, like put a banana in there, and some dates and stuff. Like, dates are so sweet. So there's so many natural ways of doing it. And if people could come to that comprehension that sugar is really at the heart of it all, but then getting simple things like quality sleep. How is your water intake, and what kind of water are you drinking, right? Yes, there is a difference in the water. Drinking right out of the tap is not good. I lost how much vitamin D, sunshine vitamin, right? So vital right now during the winter months, because here where we are in Canada, especially, we're not getting as much sunshine.
Right.
So vitamin D. So we're upping the sugar, and our vitamin D intake goes down. It's just a recipe for cold and flus. So, boosting all of these, reducing the things that are going to be compromising. Alcohol, of course, for adults. Another, thing to really think about reducing as much as possible. And what I'm finding, if we talk about it on an energetic level, and sorry, I get because I'm very passionate about this, but on an energetic level, right now we are being supported to make these changes, which, again, this is what this November energy is all about. If you tune into that, you're going to see that you don't really want that glass of wine. It's just a habit. You don't really need that beer after working. It's just a habit. So let's do a shift in perspective and see if you could put something else there just to change. I did one video about, you were talking about that doldrums about work and stuff. I used to drive to work, and commute, and it was a horrible commute on the 401, and it was. And so what I did to change things up was I started going a little earlier, because it took a little longer, because it was all the back roads, but it was through the countryside, and it was so much more pleasant, and there was no traffic. No one else was on the roads. So it actually ended up being about the same timing in the end. I used to think I'd have to leave earlier, but it was about the same timing, but no traffic and no stress. And it made it so much more enjoyable to get there. So these changes in perspective, replace, with something else. Like I said, you're used to having a cookie. Well, grab a couple of dates and see if that satisfies your sugar craving. And you'd be surprised. Again, I'm going to talk quickly, just a brief second about the supplements. And again, I wasn't a big fan of it, but I've been finding, for me, now that I've been taking the Juice Plus capsules every day, my cravings for those kind of things go right down. Right? So when your body is satisfied and satiated with actual nutrition, you're not craving something to fill it quickly, right? Getting that quick energy boost. Your body's looking for energy boost. But if it's getting energy from what it already has in there, which is healthy and good, you're going to find less of a need to actually, get that. So I've cut out coffee. That's another good thing to cut out for adults. Oh, hard one. My husband still won't do it, but Dandy Blend is a great replacement. It doesn't give you the whole coffee jitter thing when you're switching. So there's lots of great little switches that you can do over the months to support that, and get your exercise in. Start a healthy morning routine, get your mind in a good place, meditation, mindfulness, exercise of some sort, and then start a good bedtime routine. I'm going to be doing actually a video on this in the kind I was telling you to. really the bedtime, you have so much power to create stuff because you're going to be going into that subconscious mind. Your brain is so powerful at night. Use it to your benefit. And I'll won't talk too long about it because I'll go into more detail in my other.
Yeah, so people can connect with you on Facebook, and you have a YouTube channel as well, and you have your website, Real Life, with so there's lots of ways to connect with you. I think my last question, and I should have asked it before, you talked about your son, and your son was sort of a force for you for change.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big gift. What else? What are some of the other gifts he's given you?
Well, he's given me that ability to shift perspective, in all honesty. I mean, here is this boy who, if you saw his spine, you would just like, oh my goodness, like it's a real physical disability. It's at 110% curvature now. That's huge. That's huge. Yet he gets up in the morning with a smile. He laughs. He loves jokes. He hugs so beautifully. He's still so loving and joy filled. And that was the secret of life. I lived it.
And that's our true essence. And
that is our true, he is living our true essence. He really, really is. And so he taught me that it doesn't matter what you're going through. And I went through a lot of hardships and ups and downs and struggles. I mean, I went through PTSD and divorce and bankruptcy. I mean, I've gone through some challenges.
We're like country music songs, you and I.
It is. I could sing. I love singing too, so don't get me started. But so I mean, just that ability of his to get up every day, and he wouldn't know to do otherwise. He isn't programmed to do otherwise. We have allowed ourselves to get into that victim mentality. And I get it. I understand it. I've been there. I've lived it. And then I got myself out of it because it does not serve you. And everything, one of the greatest things I've learned is that everything that we experience is here to teach us something. We are here to learn. And even in those darkest moments, we are learning things. And if we can then do those pivots and changes of perspective, we can use those to our benefit, right? So.
Yeah, this was great. I wish we had longer.
I know, because then I could tell you all about all my pregnancy stuff with my.
And what a beautiful soul that he taught you that lesson,
Yes. Oh, I know. He really, and you know what? I have to say, he goes into a room, he's, all through school, every teacher, every, support that he has worked with says the same thing. He is a joy. He brings we moved up here to where I am in Bracebridge from Bradford, and his educational assistant that was there, she actually messaged me and came up to visit because she missed him so much. And she said he was the reason she had a smile going into work every day. And she wishes he was there because it was him that brought that sunshine into her life. So he has blessed so many people with that unconditional love and joy that he just emanates. Like, it's just, he truly is this high frequency being and soul, incarnated into this human body with challenges. So it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah. And may we all kind of strive for that in 2022.
Yes, absolutely.
A light and a joy for people in our lives, Yeah. So Rose-Anne, shameless self-promotion time. Where do we connect with you?
Yeah, reallifechanges.com, like all one word, all 2 L's in there. Everyone's like, is there 2 L's? Yes, reallifechanges.com is the main website. There's, contact pages there. I am on YouTube. So YouTube/Real Life Changes, and Instagram, Real Life Changes with Rose-Anne, Facebook. I have a Real Life Changes page, but you can also look up I'm technically Rose-Anne Partridge, but on Facebook, I'm Rose-Anne Turunen Partridge, for all those people who knew me with my maiden name. And yeah, you can find me, reach out to me one way or the other. I do Real Life Tuesdays with your fabulous group.
Yeah.
And
Passion Prosperity Project on
yes.
Facebook. Yeah.
Yes. So you can find me on there as well. And actually upcoming on the 23rd of November, I believe it's at 8 p.m. or so, but I'm going to post it. Actually, I'll post it in the group as well. David, I am doing a Zoom presentation, meeting workshop type of thing with two other beautiful souls talking about nourishing our exceptional children. So it's actually more talk about, how we can truly nourish our children with, anything, ADHD, autism, rare conditions like my son's, and, how to help them to have that high baseline for health and wellness, and opening up minds on different things, because nutrition is a big challenge for all of us.
Yeah, it really is. And yeah, especially, for our kids too, right? As you alluded to, they'd rather have the chocolate bars from Halloween than, yeah.
I get it. They're funny. They're hard for me to resist too,
I know.
Don't give me a Reese peanut butter cup. Just don't, please.
About that the other day. You got your chocolate and my peanut butter, and you got your. And I remember as a kid, my mom used to bake. I was telling my friend, she used to make this dessert, profiteroles, right? This puff paste.
Oh, profiterole, yes.
Yeah, right, with chocolate, Hershey chocolate sauce. And I would, if there was chocolate sauce left over, I'd get a spoon of peanut butter as a kid, and I would dip this peanut butter in the chocolate sauce, and it's like, whoa, this is the best.
It is the best.
Who knew? I could have invented that chocolate bar. But anyway, I digress. This was an absolute joy having you.
Oh, thank you, David. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, what a joy. And for you watching and listening, I hope you got that too. And stay tuned to Rise the podcast. We're going to be growing it in the new year. I have big plans for rebranding and retooling this and making it, grow. So if it's all about inspiring entrepreneurs who want to inspire and make an impact or positive change on the planet. So if you liked it, let us know. Be sure to listen, tell your friends. And until then, have a beautiful week, Rose-Anne. What a joy having you. And for you watching, listening, thank you so much. We'll see you next week.